Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going really small.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really small.
Yeah.
We're talking about the molecular level.
Molecular,
Yeah.
exactly.
Specifically, we're going to be diving into some cutting-edge research that's going to revolutionize how we detect and analyze different molecules. So, think about this. Imagine a world where you could have a device so small it fits in your pocket.
Wow.
And you could instantly identify any molecule around you.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's the kind of future we're talking about.
That's the future.
Yeah.
And it all starts with a pretty simple principle. Every single molecule has a unique fingerprint.
Wait, so you're saying molecules have fingerprints just like we do?
Kind of, yeah. But
Yeah.
instead of like swirls and ridges, like our fingerprint, these molecular fingerprints are all about vibrations.
Vibration?
Yeah. So every molecule,
Okay.
it vibrates in a very specific way when it interacts with certain types of light, usually infrared light. And this specific vibration, it's like a unique ID card for that molecule.
Interesting. So by analyzing these vibrational fingerprints, you're saying scientists can actually tell what kind of molecule they're looking at.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's kind of like having a microscopic detective, on hand at all times.
I like that.
So you can instantly tell if something's contaminated or if the air quality is dangerous just by looking at these molecular vibrations.
That would be so useful.
Mm.
But hold on a sec. Molecules are unbelievably tiny.
Yeah.
How do scientists even detect these fingerprints in the first place?
That's a really good question. And honestly, it's been one of the biggest challenges for scientists. The traditional way of doing this is through infrared spectroscopy, which is basically analyzing these molecular vibrations.
Right.
But the problem is that these signals, especially from really small samples, are super faint, hard to pick up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So researchers have been developing this cool technique called cirrus spectroscopy to address this problem.
Cirrus spectroscopy. I've never heard of that. What is that exactly?
So it stands for Surface-Enhanced Infrared Absorption Spectroscopy.
Oh, wow.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But basically what it does is it uses these special surfaces to amplify the molecular signals, making them much easier to detect.
Oh, so it's all about boosting that signal. Interesting.
Exactly.
Now, in the research that we sent you, it also mentioned something called phonon polaritons.
Right. Phonon polaritons.
Yeah. How do those fit into all of this?
So these phonon polaritons are actually a key part of making this technology even more sensitive.
Okay.
Imagine if you could squeeze light down to the nanoscale.
Wow.
That's kind of what a phonon polariton is.
Okay.
It's like this special particle that combines light with vibrations in these carefully chosen materials.
So these materials, they're not just random, right?
No, not at all.
They're specifically chosen for this purpose.
Yeah, one example is hexagonal boron nitride.
Okay.
It's this 2D material with a honeycomb structure. And that structure is crucial because it allows us to generate these phonon polaritons, which then interact super strongly with the molecules sitting on top of the material, boosting their signal even more.
So it's like stacking enhancements on top of each other.
Exact.
First, we have the Sera to amplify the signal, and then we're using these special materials, these phonon polaritons, to boost it even further.
Yeah.
It's like a double whammy.
It is, but there's still one more piece of the puzzle to get to that pocket-sized device we were talking about earlier.
Oh, there's more. Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
We need to bring in graphene.
Graphene. You mean that wonder material everyone's always talking about?
The one and only.
So what makes graphene detectors so special for this application?
Well, first off, they're incredibly sensitive, but more importantly, unlike traditional detectors that are bulky and need to be cooled down to these super low temperatures,
Okay.
graphene detectors can operate at room temperature.
Room temperature. So no more giant cooling systems. That really does change everything.
It does, and that's exactly why this is such a breakthrough. Researchers have managed to combine the power of these phonon polaritons with room temperature graphene detectors to create the first on-chip phononic Sera detector.
Okay, so break that down for me. What does that actually mean? They basically put everything, the special materials, the phonon polaritons, and the graphene detectors all on a single chip.
Exactly. Miniaturize the whole setup.
That's insane.
It is. It opens up so many possibilities. Imagine analyzing tiny samples of, say, blood or water right there on a tiny chip, getting results instantly.
Wow, so that lab-on-a-chip idea is actually becoming a reality.
It is, and it's just the beginning. But we'll delve into those possibilities after a quick break. We'll be back in a moment to explore the full potential of this groundbreaking technology. So before the break, we were talking about how this tech could like change medical diagnostics, right?
Right,
And
right.
environmental monitoring.
Mm.
But it goes even deeper than that. It's not just about identifying the molecules, it's about understanding how they interact with each other.
Oh, that's a good point. It's easy to think of molecules as like static things, but they're not.
All right. Not at all.
They're constantly interacting, changing, reacting.
Exactly. And to be able to actually see these interactions in real time at the nanoscale, that could revolutionize fields like drug discovery,
Oh, yeah.
or materials science.
Yeah.
Think about being able to actually watch how a drug molecule binds to a protein.
Wow.
Or how different materials behave at the atomic level.
It's like getting a front row seat to the molecular world.
It is. And what's even more exciting is that this technology could allow us to manipulate those interactions.
Okay, now you're really blowing my mind. So
Yeah.
we're not just talking about observing anymore. We're talking about actually controlling these interactions.
Yeah. We could potentially design drugs that are way more effective, fewer side effects, or even create materials with properties we've never seen before.
Okay, now I see what you mean about going deeper than just identification.
Yeah.
It's about unlocking the secrets of these molecules and using that knowledge to create entirely new things.
Exactly. Pushing the boundaries of what's possible, right?
Absolutely.
It's amazing. And, before the break, we were talking about lab on a chip.
Yeah.
Can you remind me how this tech makes that a reality?
Well, from what I understand, it's all about combining these super-sensitive detectors
Right.
with something called microfluidic channels.
Yes. Microfluidic channels. Tiny little pathways etched onto a chip,
Oh, okay.
allowing us to control and manipulate these tiny, tiny amounts of liquid.
So instead of needing a huge lab setup to analyze a sample, you're saying we could use these channels to, like, direct tiny droplets of fluid right over the detector.
You got it.
Wow.
And because these detectors are so sensitive,
Yeah.
they can analyze those tiny samples with incredible precision.
It really is like shrinking an entire lab onto a tiny chip.
It is. Imagine the
Right.
implications for medical diagnostics.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Instead of drawing vials of blood for testing,
Right.
we could get the same information, maybe even more,
Wow.
from just a pinprick.
That would be incredible. Faster, less invasive.
Exactly. Point-of-care diagnostics. Get your test results instantly right there in the doctor's office or even at home.
It's not just about convenience, though, is it?
Yeah.
This kind of miniaturization and sensitivity could open up all sorts of possibilities for personalized medicine. Imagine being able to track a patient's response to a medication in real time and adjust their dosage based on their unique biochemistry.
Absolutely. That's exactly the kind of revolution we're talking about. Taking something that used to only be possible in a specialized lab and putting that power directly into the hands of doctors and patients.
I mean, it's mind-blowing to think that something so small could have such a massive impact. But I know we also talked about applications beyond healthcare, like environmental monitoring, right?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine using these microfluidic chips
Yeah.
with the detectors to
Right.
continuously monitor the quality of our drinking water
That's a great idea.
or track pollution levels in real time.
So instead of waiting weeks for lab results, we could have a whole network of these sensors giving us instant feedback on the health of our environment.
Exactly. We could detect contaminants so much faster, react to environmental threats more effectively.
This all sounds incredibly promising, but are there any potential downsides or challenges we should be thinking about?
Well, of course, like with any new technology, there are always challenges. Cost is a big one, right? Manufacturing these highly sensitive detectors, integrating them into devices, making it affordable and accessible, that's going to be crucial.
I can see that. And I imagine there are some pretty significant technical hurdles as well.
Oh, yeah. Miniaturizing these components to fit on a chip, maintaining accuracy and reliability, that's not easy.
But I guess that's where the excitement of scientific progress comes in, right? Pushing those boundaries, finding solutions.
Absolutely. And the pace of technological advancement these days is incredible.
It makes you wonder what the future holds. We've talked about healthcare, environmental monitoring, but I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface. What other areas could be impacted by this kind of portable molecular analysis?
Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Imagine using this tech to analyze food,
Oh, yeah.
ensure its safety, authenticity, identify counterfeit medications.
That's huge.
It's like giving everyone a superpower,
Right. The ability to see and understand the molecular world all around them.
Exactly. But with that power comes responsibility, right? We need to be thinking about the ethical implications, privacy, data security. All of that.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
As amazing as these possibilities are, we have to make sure we're using this technology wisely and ethically.
Absolutely. We need to be having these conversations, ensuring that it's used for good. And speaking of good, let's shift gears a bit and talk about how this technology could impact you personally.
So we've talked about all these amazing possibilities with this tech, but
Yeah.
I think it's time to bring it all home. Like how could this actually impact our everyday lives?
It's all about giving people more information, more control, right? Like, imagine being able to check the quality of your water or how fresh your food is, or even like verify the authenticity of your medicine.
All with a device that fits in your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It would give people so much peace of mind, right? Like, you know what you're getting.
It's like a whole new level of transparency.
It is. And think about the implications for food safety.
Oh, yeah?
Consumers could quickly check for contaminants,
No.
allergens right there at the grocery store.
That would be life-changing for people with allergies or, sensitivities.
Absolutely. No more like,
Or reading every single label.
yeah, reading every label, worrying about cross-contamination.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just consumers, right? What about companies?
Oh, absolutely. Companies could use this to monitor their supply chains, ensure the quality and safety of their products.
It's like a whole new era of accountability.
Exactly. And we've only just scratched the surface here. We talked about healthcare, environmental monitoring, food safety.
It seems like the possibilities are endless.
They really are.
But I'm curious, if you could use this technology to solve any problem in the world, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many pressing issues. But if I had to choose, I think I'd focus on access to clean water.
Clean water. Yeah.
Imagine a world where everyone could instantly test their water for contaminants
Wow.
and know for sure that it's safe to drink.
That would have such a huge impact on global health.
Especially in developing countries,
Yeah.
where access to clean water is a major issue. It could save so many lives.
Wow. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We started with molecular fingerprints and ended up imagining a world where we can analyze anything instantly.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is. And this is just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
As this technology keeps developing and becomes more accessible, who knows what we'll be able to do?
The possibilities are truly limitless.
So to our listeners out there, stay curious, keep exploring, and maybe one day you'll be using a pocket-sized molecular analyzer to solve a problem that matters to you.
That's the dream.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.